Hey, today I'll be talking about episode 36 of RuYi's Royal Love. Another pox starts spreading around the palace, and this one's deadly. Because of 7th Prince's weak immune system, he's under 24/7 watch. RuYi and HaiLan get a message from Hui's old maid Mo Xin asking for a meeting. Mo Xin reveals that she's got the pox. With both of her parents dead, the only thing she's living for is to fulfill her mistress's dying wish and get revenge on the Empress for the whole contraceptive bracelet thing. She says that with their help, she can get to the Empress's son, pass on the pox, and enact Hui's revenge. RuYi doesn't even consider it, but it's clear that HaiLan thinks this is too great of an opportunity to pass up.
姐姐若怕，我做便是。
I'm half surprised and half not at HaiLan being this outspoken about killing the 7th Prince. I mean, it's all but confirmed that she had a hand in killing the 2nd Prince, so this wouldn't be that much of a jump. What I'm actually surprised at is that she would even suggest this to RuYi. Putting your own non-existent morals aside, knowing everything you do about RuYi, do you really think you could convince her to go along with this? HaiLan, please just go take care of your son. Though Yanwan is now a first-class female attendant, she's having trouble making friends with the other kids at school. Jia and Chun know and hate her thanks to their dealings with her when she was a servant, everyone else looks down on her because she was a servant, and RuYi of course knows how she stepped all over Yuncha to get here, so no thanks. I adore this scene with Yanwan bringing up a million excuses for why she had to betray Yuncha, and HaiLan is over it, just completely checked out. Anyway, there's no way RuYi could ever befriend her.
你自己选的路，自己走着开心便成了。
Since Yanwan won't be making any BFFs in the harem, she decides to focus her energy on having a child. She has her doctor recreate a fertility drug the emperor had specially made just for imperial concubine Shu. Considering Shu still hasn't gotten pregnant, I'm not sure why she's so eager to get that specific medicine. What you need to do is find out what Chun's eating. She is popping them out like a Pez dispenser. After being rejected by RuYi and HaiLan, Hui's maid hasn't given up and tries Mei next. She tells her that the Empress and Hui worked together to make her miscarry and then framed RuYi. And again, Mei is always ready to fight someone. RuYi killed my baby? Wait, what? It was Aro? Wait, no again? It was the Empress?
I will have my revenge.
I mean, this time she's kind of got the right person, but it could just as easily have been another frame job. Come on, girl, get a hobby. Don't you play the guitar or something? So she agrees to what RuYi wouldn't and arranges to have the maid's pox-infected clothes mixed in with 7th Prince's wet nurse's clothes. By the way, small nitpick, but for as contagious as this pox supposedly is, all anyone has to do is touch their nose with a hanky every few minutes and they're totally safe. Did you see how close motion was to RuYi? Meanwhile, the emperor starts to find Yanwan's lack of knowledge less cute and more dumb. I mean, she was a servant 5 minutes ago, so yes, she doesn't have 1,000 poems memorized and ready to go at the drop of a hat, or know which high-class ingredients pair with what. And is that really her fault?
是臣妾不当心破坏了这白瓷香炉。
这不是白瓷。
Oh, you moron. You don't even know the difference between white porcelain and sweet white glaze?
Like, dude, if you want to avoid this problem, maybe stop sleeping with your servants. By my count, this is the 5th servant you've married. Why are you still surprised that they're uneducated? And then, despite all of that, he still decides to promote her to noble lady. Shout out to Wan, who has been in the same position since episode 3. Stay strong, girl. A doctor comes to report to the emperor that he's caught Yanwan making copies of Shu's fertility drug in the hopes of conceiving. And reveal, actually it's not a fertility drug, it's a contraceptive. Taking it back a bit, Shu was groomed by the Empress Dowager to be the Emperor's perfect woman. The Emperor is really into her and she's actually in love with him, so the Emperor takes her in, even knowing that she's really just a spy for his mother. Sleeping together is fine, he just has to be careful what he says to her, but he doesn't want her having children as bringing a child into this would be messy. So he's been giving her what she thinks is a fertility medicine every time she serves him. She's been so touched thinking he really wants her to get pregnant, but no. It's just like what the Empress did to Hui, comforting her about having trouble conceiving, but all the while stabbing her in the back. Since Yanwan sought the meds out herself, the Emperor decides to just let her keep taking it, since he's not all that keen on having children with her anyway. But all of this is overheard by RuYi, who happened to be in the area. Of course, the Emperor lies to the women and vice versa, but Shu is so obviously true to the Emperor, and now RuYi will have to bear the knowledge every time she sees Shu that she'll never have children, even though she so badly wants to, and it's all thanks to her beloved husband.
如果你知道一个人一直在被骗，可若对他说出真相，他又会伤心难过，你说不说？
如果这个人被骗得很快活， 但是知道真相之后却伤心难过的话，还是不要说的比较好。
Totally agree. It's not as if she finds out, he'll allow her to get pregnant, so all it would do is hurt her. Mo Xin's plan works and Seventh Prince gets the pox through his wet nurse. The Emperor doesn't want the pox spreading any further and has no choice but to put Seventh Prince into quarantine. RuYi does ask HaiLan if she did it, and HaiLan says she didn't. I don't think this is a sign of distrust, otherwise why ask, right? She wouldn't believe her answer anyway. But also, this is when HaiLan's dedication starts becoming psychotic.
但当日姐姐叮嘱过我不要伤害孩子。
So like, the only thing keeping you from killing a baby was that RuYi said no? That was your only hang-up? Mei is ecstatic to hear that the plan worked, totally fine with being used once again by the puppet master Jia Fei. Just after RuYi and HaiLan rejected the maid's offer, we spot Jia's maid, which means Jia must have already known about Mo Xin's plan. In fact, the maid probably approached Jia first, only for Jia to point her towards RuYi and HaiLan. They didn't take the bait, so then she pointed the maid towards Mei, trigger finger pin, who did. It of course benefits Jia to kill the Seventh Prince, or any prince really, but this plan was too risky to actually involve herself in. So rather than let the chance pass, she gave it to someone else, and she's pregnant again! How can anyone else even compete with her? The Emperor and the Empress can't eat or sleep for fear of their son's illness. The Empress sits right outside Seventh Prince's quarantine area, waiting and praying for him to recover. On day 3, Seventh Prince dies. I can't imagine sitting there day after day hopeful that your son will start to recover any minute, and then just hearing the announcement. Whatever my feelings for the Empress are, this is just... So, HaiLan is evil, huh? I could pretend I was in denial about Second Prince's death, but this time she straight up says, hey, let's murder a baby, without blinking an eye. I don't think HaiLan had a hand in this pox plot, but the point is, she absolutely would have if RuYi had let her. No one deserves to be killed for something their parent did, let alone a literal baby. Honestly though, I think her experiences have just made her so cold and jaded that she really just feels nothing for anyone other than RuYi. And I do include her son in that statement, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Mei at least might be convincing herself that she's taking the Empress's child as repayment for her own child's life. Not that Mei is what you want to aspire to. Man, she is just an angry little ball of spite. Dr. Zhang tells her that she's been weak since her miscarriage and needs to regulate her emotions or she won't last the year. Which makes sense. It's been years and Mei is still a bomb ready to go off at any moment. Take a break, girl. Go see a play or something. Finally, I realized I never really talked about why the Emperor cares so much about Second and Seventh Prince, even making Seventh Prince the Crown Prince right away, despite his poor health. We know that the Empress Dowager is his adopted mother, and his birth mother has always been a thorn in his side. As the Emperor, he always wished he could remove the stain of his lineage to be 100% legitimate. Since he can't, he wishes it for his son. This was his last chance to do it, and now it's gone. And now for a look at the book. So you might have thought Book RuYi would be all over the opportunity to kill another of the Empress's sons, but in this case, she does actually say no. She tells HaiLan that it's because after the birth of the 5th prince, she understands what it is to be a mother, which is hilarious because HaiLan is the one who actually delivered him, and this is her response. It's not just because of Yongqi. You're worried about your position and the damage to your honor and glory. You're also afraid of the Emperor finding out, right? In the past, we had nothing. Now that we have gained so much, we've become overly cautious. I'm afraid that one day we will have too many cares binding our hands, leaving us incompetent and powerless. HaiLan so does not let her get away with taking the moral high ground, and I think she hits the nail on the head. RuYi is no angel. She can say she simply had a change of heart, but the reality is just what HaiLan said. Did she really gain a conscience, or is she just afraid to lose what she struggled so hard to gain? Book RuYi and HaiLan are such flawed people, but they're also very believable. I love it. Till next time, thanks for watching.